Good morning. I'm Father Jim Pera from Grace Episcopal Church in beautiful downtown Traverse City. On this glorious election day, we are coming to you at the top of the hour with prayers led by various members of our faith communities in the Grand Traverse area. And I am delighted to be here this morning with Rabbi Dr. Chava Bahle, who will be leading us from here on out. Chava?
Thank you, Father Jim. I want to start by acknowledging and thanking you and Grace Episcopal and all of our colleagues for hosting and making this day possible. There's a lot going on, and to carve out this kind of time and space is a real commitment and a gesture of love. I'll remind you at the end of my time to remember to tune in at the top of the hour for the rest of the day when others of our colleagues will be leading. So, beloveds, I want to invite you to begin in the tradition of the Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh, who asks us to begin our important moments with 3 deep into the body breaths. 1, to acknowledge that you are present. A second breath, to acknowledge that you are present with the other people here. And a third breath, to acknowledge that this moment, this exact moment, is the moment we were made for. I will apologize in advance on behalf of my brain injury. It does cause me sometimes to stutter and pause. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Let there be peace, peace in every country, peace in every city, peace in every heart. Let there be peace. Shalom. Shalom, shalom, let there be peace. A prayer for our country by my colleague, Rabbi Ayelet Cohen. Holy One of Blessing, help us to be vigilant, compassionate, and brave. Strengthen us when we are afraid. Help us to channel our anger so that it motivates us to action. Help us to feel our fear so that we do not become numb. Help us to be generous with others so that we raise each other up. Help us to be humble in our fear, knowing that as vulnerable as we feel, there are those at greater risk. And that is our holy work, that it is our holy work to stand with them. Help us to taste the sweetness of liberty, to not take for granted the freedoms won in generations past or in recent days, to heal and nourish our democracy, that it may be like a tree planted by the water whose roots reach down to the stream. It need not fear drought when it comes. Its leaves are always green. Source of life, guide our leaders with righteousness. Strengthen their hearts, but keep them from hardening, that they may use their influence and authority to speak truth and act for justice. May all who dwell in this country share in its bounty, enjoy its freedoms, and be protected by its laws. May this nation use its power and wealth to be a voice for justice, peace, and equality for all who dwell on earth. May we be strong and have courage, to be bold in our action and deep in our compassion, to discern when we might listen and when we must act, to uproot bigotry, intolerance, misogyny, racism, discrimination, and violence in all of its forms, to celebrate the many faces of divinity reflected in the wondrous diversity of humanity, to welcome the stranger and the immigrant, and to honor the gifts of those who seek refuge and possibility here. As they have since before this nation was born, let justice well up like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Beloveds, some time from now, probably not today or tomorrow, we will have an accurate result of today's election. And I want to invite us all to consider this possibility, that if our particular candidate wins the race, that we don't gloat. We are in a time of great division, of great strife with our neighbors. And it is our hope by being here with you today that regardless of which side of the aisle we sit on, or whether we are red or blue or purple or green, whatever our affiliations or political leanings, we are all still neighbors. It is my hope and the hope of my colleagues that today will be a healing day for our nation. And so for those of you who are within the sound of our voices today, we invite you to be peacemakers, for they are blessed. If there is to be peace in the world, says the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu, if there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. Again, if there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. And if there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. We're going to take a few moments of silence together now. And I want to invite you to bring your spine up straight, not rigid. Soften your belly, soften your jaw, soften your hands, bringing a softness and awareness. I'm going to invite you to think about all of the people who are feeling the things that you are feeling today, whether that is joy or fear or concern or elation or angst, whatever you're feeling. I want you to invite into your heart, and I know this is counterintuitive, invite into your heart those people who may be suffering today. And then allow that to resonate in your own heart, in your own experience. And then send back out to them whatever you feel they might need. So in this way, we are actually inviting in with compassion some of the suffering in the world. This is not meant to increase suffering. It's meant to resonate in our hearts so that we can then send out peace, love, a sense of enoughness, a sense of justice, So we'll take a few moments. I'll set my timer for about 5 minutes. And as we do this practice, which is called Tonglen in the Buddhist tradition, this practice of resonant compassion, as we do this, if something in particular comes up into your heart that you want to send or that you need to receive, or if in more traditional terms you have a prayer or petition, you're welcome to write that on whichever platform you are engaging in the comments section. And I will keep an eye on that with the gracious assistance of my awesome colleagues. So friends, we'll sit now for 5 minutes and breathe in, breathe out, sending out to the world what is most needed. If the mind wanders, come back to the breath. If the mind wanders, return to your heart. If the mind wanders, return to your intention. If the mind wanders, return to receiving and sending.
Rabbi Chava, Jim Para here. We have a comment from Chris Lane who says, I pray we can sense invitation to stand unafraid among adversaries. What is a mantra we might speak inside ourselves when we feel afraid or offended?
Amen. Let's take Reverend Chris's question into our hearts. What is a mantra or a sacred phrase that we might hold on to in these uncertain days? In these times when we all feel so very raw, so ready to be offended. One of the great spiritual pieces of advice that I got from my teacher, the Holy Reb Yitzhak Buxbaum, was choose not to be offended. It takes some work, but it's been a good training. So think about what is a phrase, an idea. It doesn't have to be a long one. It could be a single word. What brings you back to center? Is it love? Peace? Salam? Shalom? Om Shanti? Pax Vobiscum? What's a word that you might carry and commit to returning to at periodic intervals? There is a wonderful book that takes this question into great depth by the amazing author Eknath Easwaran, and it's called The Mantra. And it's a wonderful book about how to go about using that practice of a repetitive phrase that we bring and send deep into our hearts as a balm and as a soothing. Let us know peace. For as long as the moon shall rise, for as long as the rivers shall flow, for as long as the sun shall rise, for as long as the grass shall grow, let us know peace. A prayer attributed to the Cheyenne Nation. Friends, in a moment I will sign off from this time with you. Before I share some closing words, I just want to again thank and acknowledge Father Jim Para of Grace Episcopal Church in Traverse City, and thank that congregation for its willingness to host us on this day. I hope that some of you were able to be with our beloved colleague, Chris Lane, who spoke at the 10 o'clock hour. In addition to Father Jim Para, we have Ann Hallmark and Bill Myers and Jody Benton and Phil Garrison, beloved colleagues all, each who I'm sure will bring great gifts to the top of each hour on this historic day. This is one of those days where we will remember where we were and remember what we were bringing to the moment. So the closing words from Rabbi Harold Kushner. Let the rain come and wash away the ancient grudges, the bitter hatreds held and nurtured over generations. Let the rain wash away the memory of the hurt and the neglect. Then let the sun come out and fill the sky with rainbows. Let the warmth of the sun heal us wherever we are broken. Let it burn away the fog so that we can see each other clearly, so that we can see beyond labels. Let the warmth and brightness of the sun melt our selfishness, so that we can share the joys and feel the sorrows of our neighbors. And let the light of the sun be so strong that we see all people as our neighbors. Let the earth, nourished by rain, bring forth flowers to surround us with beauty, and let the mountains teach our hearts to reach upward to heaven. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Let there be peace, peace in every country, peace in every city, peace in every heart. Let there be peace. Friends, namaste. I honor that place in you in which the entire universe dwells. I honor that place in you that is of light, of love, of peace, and of truth. And when you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, we are one. Shalom, salam, shanti, peace, peace, peace.